I mean, it would be a dream. I mean, playing for the Crest, I mean, it's just an honor. And if I get to that point, then, I mean, my dreams will come true since I was a little kid. And to know that little kids would look up to me.
So I just want you to take me back from the beginning of your soccer story when you were a little girl. What made you want to play soccer, and what made you fall in love with it?
Yeah, so what made me get into soccer was my sister, actually, because I was watching her grow up play for the Honey Bears, actually, and I was seeing how fun she had and how competitive she was, and I was like, I want to do that one day, and I was actually the mascot for her team.
Okay.
I'd wear a UNC North Carolina cheerleader outfit, and I'd even get the trophies when they won something, and ever since that, it was just history from there.
I was reading, so your entire family is big soccer, so your dad played at UNC, and so what is it like growing up in a family where soccer is kind of like the thing?
Yeah, so my mom played for TCU, my dad at UNC, and I mean, we're just a big soccer family. We all love soccer. It's funny, we don't watch it as much as people think, but we just love the game. We love how it brings us close together as a family, and my dad was my coach for a long time, so those little things just made us closer, and it was more time for us to hang out because he was busy with work too.
What was it like, growing up, when you were little in DFW, there wasn't a pro team around. And so back then, opportunities were a little bit more limited. What was it like growing up in the youth system and being such a very good player at that level?
It means the world that there's a pro team now in Dallas. I mean, I just think the women's game is growing, and now that there's more teams in a new league, I just think it's very important for women's sports in general, and I just could not be more happy that I grew up in Dallas, and now that there's a pro team for me to play with in front of my family.
So who were the people, the players that growing up you idolized? Who did you want to be?
Oh, it's a hard question. I think Alex Morgan, of course, Roosevelt, Lindsey Horan, because those two play the position I'm into, and I just looked up to those girls.
And so,
of course, Messi too.
Oh, there you go.
Messi too.
So, I guess when you're growing up in the youth system around here, and you're doing really well, the more traditional way is to go play overseas, go do that. I heard that you were offered pro contracts, but you turned those down and went to Texas instead. What was behind that decision?
Well, a lot of it is behind the scenes too. I mean, you have to get the pro points to go into England, and that is to play in a Tier 1 league in the States or anywhere outside of England. And I mean, if they offered me, but I would have to get loaned out to Switzerland or Sweden for a little bit and then go back. So ultimately, I just wanted to get my education first because, I mean, you always want a backup plan, and education is very important to me and my family. And obviously, Texas is a great school. I mean, especially when NIL just became a thing too, which helped. But no, ultimately, I have to get the pro points first, and then that's still my dream, though, is to play in England or Italy too.
Okay. And so, is this true? I read that you committed to Texas in 7th grade.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So, and so you stuck through going through 6, 7, 8 years before you even got to go to college. You knew where you were going to go. What was it like going down to Austin and playing for the University of Texas?
Oh man, I mean, it just felt like home because I committed there when I was 7th grade. I went through those camps, and going there, it just felt like home, like I said. And Ange Kelly just cares about you more as a player, more as a person than as a player, and that means a lot to me, and that's what I found unique with Pauline too at Dallas Trinity.
And so while you're there, this team, Dallas Trinity, kind of in the league itself became a thing while you were at Texas. And so with that option that comes up, is that something that you immediately were like, I want to go do that, I want to go back to Dallas, or how did that go about?
I was talking about it with my inner circle, my family, and I mean, I just think it came down to a lot of decisions. Ultimately, financially it was great. The team, the culture was great for me. I mean, ultimately playing in my first pro contract in Dallas in front of my family meant the world to me. Just those things, I think it's just where it came down. And I didn't really look at the two leagues like any different. I just chose what would be the best for my development. And it's also important for a rookie to get a lot of minutes. And
then speaking of, what has it been like making that transition from college ball to pro ball? How has the transition been for you?
I just think the game's more faster. I think it's also very technical in college, it was the same, but ultimately I just think the speed of play is faster. And for me, I want to grow my game defensively and offensively, and I think Dallas Trinity will be a good step in the next direction while I'm playing pro.
And then, I mean, you scored 4 minutes into your debut. What was that like?
I was not expecting that. I was a great ball by Allie, and I was literally like wide open. And I remember getting it, and I was 1v1 with the keeper, and I was like, okay, well, I practiced this so many times, I'm not gonna miss. And I just slotted it, and I was just so happy. And I was like, wow, this was meant to be.
And so you mentioned growing up, and your idols were, you know, Alex Morgan and Rose Lavelle and all these women that have played for the national team and everything, very popular. What does it mean to you that you could potentially be a little girl today, their Alex Morgan or their Rose Lavelle that is like going to the Trinity games?
I mean, it would be a dream. I mean, playing for the Crest, I mean, it's just an honor. And if I get to that point, then, I mean, my dreams will come true since I was a little kid. And to know that little kids would look up to me, it is a weird circle of life, but I mean, that would be just everything to me.
And I guess I'll end with this. When you look back on, like, so 10, 15 years from now, when you look back on your career, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I want to leave behind that I'm very technical and tactical, but ultimately a good teammate. I feel like that's very important, and I always want to have a good impression on my teammates.